Do you consider yourself normal? Then this is not the show for you. Please go somewhere else. This is WYRD. If it's getting weird, it's got to be the Wyrd Mountain Gals show. You're listening to Byron and Alicia, the Wyrd Mountain Gals.
Verses in that.
There's unlimited. It's like, do you remember, what was that song, Mountain Dew?
They call it that good old mountain? Oh, they call it that good Mountain Dew.
That's the one.
And then that refuses.
So, I was in the Bascom Lamar Lunsford Mountain Dance and Folk Festival as a child, singing that song a cappella.
Hey, Byron.
Hey.
Suppose they asked you if you can sing a cappella. What do you do?
Well, I do it. A cappella, a cappella. But I don't know the rest of the words.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see it.
Well, and the
Mountain
thing, Mountain Dew, yes, I did.
Lord.
A cappella. In a long blue flowing gown. A la Loretta Lynn. I don't know, maybe 12. I don't know. And I love that song, but there's just an unending amount of verses that you can put with it. But it was something about my Uncle Mort, and you don't remember? Well, my Uncle Mort was off and short. Daddy measured about 4'2", but he feels just like a giant when you give him a pint
of that
good old Mountain Dew. That's it. And then you go, I'll fly away, oh Lord.
So you can do, that's what we ought to do. We ought to do a mashup of I'll Fly Away and Mountain Dew. Oh, God. That'd be great. That'd be fun.
We should do that.
That's awesome. Me and you need to do our Revenators thing again. Hey, Greg, Revelators.
Revelators. The Revenators.
I don't even remember the name of it.
The Revelators. Yes, we should. Absolutely, we should.
That's fun.
We'll get another show together if you want to.
Oh, I'd love to do that since I'm gonna be home more this time.
Yes, ma'am.
I would love that. We'll do a mashup of Mountain Dew and I'll Fly Away.
Yep.
That's what we'll do. Like a whole. Let's do a gospel album. You want to do
we
a gospel
could,
album?
or yes, I could do a gospel album.
Wyrd Mountain Gals do gospel. Oh wow.
As well as anybody else would.
Well, we would.
I had the strangest experience when I was a kid. You just reminded me. My Cherokee relatives had a band, a gospel band called the Singing Browns, because their last name were Brown. Yeah, so it was like, I think my uncle's name was Diamond Brown. And I got to go when I was about 13 years old. I got to go with them for a summer when they would go out to the different churches and stuff. That's where I saw snake handling. That's where I saw a lot of weirdness. And the foot washing.
I love snake handling and foot washing. I'm here for that.
The foot washing was highly awkward for me because as a 13-year-old girl in the 70s in the South, I was proper when I went to church, and I always wore pantyhose.
Well,
so how do you get your feet washed?
Yeah, but they washed your feet right through the pantyhose.
I know, it was a little awkward.
Yeah.
It was disgusting, actually.
So
weird. So I learned quickly to just leave.
The foot washing's commencing.
I was a musician. I could go out back. Maybe they'd think I was smoking or something. That would be more normal. But I didn't want to have my feet washed. That was like, no, get your hands off my feet.
Yeah, I'm funny because my feet are real ticklish. I'm a little bit funny about my feet, but yeah, we did a thing out in Black Mountain a few years back, and it was hot day, and they were singing and dancing and all that stuff. It was a big spiritual sort of thing, and I ended up standing in that creek while Allison Mullins, you know Allison she's over in East Tennessee, she was singing Down to the River.
Oh.
And people were coming into the river, and I was washing their hands in that creek and blessing them.
Wow.
And that was one of the most powerful things I've ever done. I love to do that again. The blessings
write that
of the
down.
Water.
Blessing of the water.
Blessing of the water.
Or whatever you want.
Yeah.
Is that what it was? It was a water blessing?
Well, yeah, that's what, I mean, because I wasn't blessing them. I don't have any authority to do that, but I was putting the water on them and letting them be blessed with it. It was beautiful. And people were lined up to come stand in the creek and have me splash water on their hands. And she was singing. She's got the voice like an angel. Oh, my gosh, you have not lived until you've heard her sing, Oh, Death.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my goodness, so beautiful.
I do want to hear that.
We should sing that, too. On our gospel album.
On our gospel album?
We'll sing Oh, Death.
Okay. I'm good with that. I'm writing one
You are right.
that's about a gospel subject, but it may not be that popular.
Oh.
It's about Billy Graham.
Oh. Well, it might be popular with some people, but maybe not popular with other people.
Well, yeah. It's called Ballad of Dead Billy.
Oh. Oh, my gosh. I can't wait to see it.
Well, he had a big influence on a lot of people.
Oh, yes. And especially in this area.
Yep.
You know, there's that, you go on 40 and there's an exit off 40 that will take you to the Cove.
The Cove.
And I can't tell you how many times I've driven by there and somebody has come by in a truck, I know it, with a paintbrush and they put an N on the end of that so that it says the Coven.
I didn't know
if
that.
You go by there and you look at it, you can see it's been painted green. Painted green.
No
People come by with
idea.
a white brush. In the Coven. Isn't that sweet?
It is what it is. It's funny.
That's a beautiful piece of land. I hear. I have never been up there.
You never stepped foot on it?
No, I don't know. I don't believe lightning would strike. I mean, after I went into that Baptist church this year and lightning did not strike, I'm feeling pretty cocky about that.
Well, I think you should.
I believe I should go out to the Cove, just take a look around.
Well, true. Again, in my opinion, but I think true Christians are going to welcome you.
Absolutely.
True Christians are going to welcome you.
I know it sounds awful. Some of my best friends are Christians, but they are followers of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And they're good.
And it's a different thing, isn't it?
It is. I mean, there are things that I'm seeing now I never thought I would see, like Baptists lockstep with each other about stuff. Because when I was coming up, you know, Baptists were independent. All of them were. Not just the ones that call themselves independent Baptists, but they were all independent. And a preacher could get up and say, misinterpret by somebody's opinion some verse of scripture, and half the church would walk out and they'd start a new church.
Oh, yeah. How many? Yes, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. They'd raise up a preacher in the congregation that had a particular gift for preaching or for prophecy, and they would just do it. And now to see them just, it breaks my heart. And I'm not a Baptist, and I mean my daddy's family were Baptists, but we weren't. We lean more towards Methodist, if anything, but not even that.
I respect the good things that they've done for people through the years, and when I think of my great aunt, my grandma, or whatever, that generation of sweet little people who absolutely were church, in church every time the doors were open, and they were good people. They were good people.
They were. And some of them are still
and
good
some of them
people.
still are. It's just turned into a little bit of a different thing.
It is, and it feels very different to me. But like I said, I'm not on the inside of it. And if you are on the inside, it may feel like it was a pretty natural progression to where they are now. I don't know. I don't know about that. But I just know that I know a lot of people who they are sad and they are brokenhearted about the state of the church right now.
Yep.
For a lot of different
For
reasons.
a lot of reasons, yeah.
And part of it's political, but not all of it is.
Nope. Well, it's just been, I think, I'm not an expert in it, and I don't even really want to go into it, but I definitely have some opinions, having been through the different Christian schools and also having been around a different set of people, too.
Yeah, that's true. Now you went to a local Christian school, didn't
I
you?
went to several of them.
Huh.
And so I went to Emmanuel Lutheran was one of them. You and I did.
I
We
went
had that
to
one in common.
Emmanuel Lutheran from kindergarten through 6th grade.
Yep.
It didn't take though.
It didn't.
Here's the funny thing. I don't remember there being a lot of religion. I remember we went to chapel, I think on Wednesday morning.
Wednesday mornings, yes.
And it was almost always some missionary who was basically talking about a foreign culture. And I love that. I remember walking in one Wednesday, and there was a tusk right up there in the front of the church.
Oh.
An elephant tusk. It was amazing.
And they were talking about this elephant tusk?
Yeah.
Okay.
And talking about, I don't know, I guess the fella had been in Africa or somewhere and talking about that. I remember that real well. And I remember we did a Christmas pageant every year.
We did a Christmas pageant.
And I always wanted to play Mary, but I never got to play Mary. I got to play Shepherd. And then one year I got to play the innkeeper's wife.
Oh, my.
Who didn't have any lines, but she stood in the door with him
Oh.
and yawned when Mary and Joseph came to find a place to stay.
Oh, you got to yawn.
I got to yawn.
Interesting.
That was my thing.
I wasn't in that, but I do remember that we had to go out and sell. We were raising money for whatever it was, and we had a line of Christian things that we sold at Emmanuel. Yeah, I sold, I remember I sold enough stuff. It was like these little necklaces and bookmarks and stuff like that, and I sold enough to get myself that fancy white Bible. It was white leather on the outside. Had my name, and it was all the fancy stuff. It even had some Kodachrome colored pictures dispersed throughout it.
I love those pictures.
And the script was all in red, and everything else was in
the
black.
words of Jesus in red.
That's right.
Yep.
And I remember that very well. And then the other school that I had some experience with was Asheville Christian Academy. Out in
how was
OT.
that? Yeah.
Very interesting from a neurological standpoint, from a purely, a psychological standpoint. It was very interesting to watch. And some of those people that I went to class with are still my friends today. We know each other on Facebook, and I appreciate that we are still friends today. I've got one fella, Phil, who has been my friend since 1971 in kindergarten at Emmanuel Lutheran.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. And we still have, communicate with each other and, keep up with each other's lives. I like to make friends for life, don't you?
I do, and you reminded me that my friend Michael and I, we've known each other since we were babies because our parents knew each other. And we knew each other at Emmanuel Lutheran. We were in class together. Yeah.
Did you have Miss Collins?
No, I don't think so. I'm older than you, though. I don't remember Miss Collins.
You're not that much older than me.
Miss Shell. I definitely had Miss Shell.
Miss Shell drove me to school every day because she lived across the street from us.
Oh, how nice.
She was my neighbor, and she's the one who told my parents about the school. And so we lived right down the road from it anyway. And
now, was Mr. Richter still the principal when you were there?
No clue.
Because he was the principal, and he taught, I think, 5th and 6th grade when I was there. And I remember having classes, because, it's a Lutheran school. We learned how to sing some songs in German. I can still sing O Tannenbaum in German from being at Emmanuel Lutheran. We learned how to drill march, as part of our PE stuff. Right. And he taught a watercolor class, I think, in the 6th grade. Isn't that sweet?
That is. Now, I never made it that far.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I never made it that far at Emmanuel Lutheran, but I think I left in 1st or 2nd grade.
Oh,
but I loved it when I went. It was interesting, and I loved those people, and they were very just solemn and respectful about their religious beliefs. They were, and so my impression of them is not bad. And as far as Asheville Christian Academy goes, it was the same. I was kind of a fish out of water at both of them, though.
Yeah, me too.
My parents were not wealthy.
No, mine either.
It was,
as you know,
it was probably a sacrifice for them to send me there, and the reason that they did was not because of the religion that was taught there. It was because they didn't serve food. All the public schools served lunch. and I had severe food allergies.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Do you
I had.
still?
No, I don't.
So you outgrew them?
I did, and so they were very worried about sending me to school as a kindergartner who was allergic to milk, eggs, chocolate, tomatoes. All the things that are in all the foods that are served in school lunches.
Huh.
So sent me to Manual Lutheran, and I'd have a hot lunch that my mom would bring to me.
Oh, how nice.
Yep, and she'd bring one to the teacher too. And then we never regretted that. The next year, Miss Collins died. And so my mom said she was very old.
Oh,
and my mom said she was so glad that she was really nice to her that last school year of her life, that she brought her a hot lunch almost every day. I thought that was nice.
Holly.
That's
we're
my
back
mom.
talking about food again.
How did that even happen?
Well, my mother used to, I got to tell this story, and I know I've probably told it before. My mother tried to, kind of get ahead of the game, and my mother was a terrible cook. And if my brother is listening, I don't care what you say, she was terrible cooking. So she would do these things. She would fry up a bunch of chicken legs on Sunday night, and she'd put that leg on a piece of white bread and put it in a baggie, stick it in the freezer. And then when it was time for to go to school, she put them in our little lunch bags or lunch boxes or whatever, with the thought that it would be thawed out by the time lunch came. Which is, that's kind of logical.
You got a frozen chicken leg popsicle for lunch?
But it almost never was thawed out. So you just eat the outside, which was thawed, and then kind of gnaw on it a little bit. And of course, the piece of white bread had a big old greasy stain on it. But God, that tasted good. You know me. I'll eat anything.
Disgusting.
I'm
Bless your heart.
Well, we usually had like a cookie or something. Or apple maybe. But yeah, we always brought our lunch.
Well, I was very lucky about that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think it was hard on my parents because they weren't wealthy. And I remember that I had things like homemade clothing, which a lot of people didn't have back then. It was the thing to do was to go to Kmart or Sky City or Roses or something.
Sky City.
Or Sears and get yourself some clothes out of the store. But I had beautiful handmade clothing.
Oh, I had some handmade clothing, but it wasn't beautiful.
Well, it was functional.
My grandmother was a really good seamstress, but my mother was not.
I did not inherit it, but the rest of my family, they're very good at it. So, Byron, you got to go.
I reckon it's about time to go.
I know you got things to do and people to see. And
in fact, I'm going to go visit with a Christian friend of mine. We're going to have some coffee.
There you go.
We're going to check in. He's right in the middle of it, or at the beginning of Advent season.
Oh.
And I'm home for a little while. I haven't seen this fella. We call each other Bubba and Sissy. He's
Bubba and Sissy.
Good old feller from South Carolina. So we're going to have some coffee.
Very
and
nice.
Get caught up.
Very nice. Well, I think I may take a nap later on. This day is gray and yucky out here, and I feel like being a little lazy.
Yeah, it is, but I can't be lazy today.
Yeah, because then you'd be having a day off. Maybe.
I know. We talked about that before. I don't even know what a day off is supposed to look like.
Is there any way we can switch our griping from that to gripe? We're griping because I always gripe about my schedule, and what I need to do is be glad about my schedule and gripe about food instead.
Well, how about we just be glad about our schedule because we chose it. For whatever reason, we're choosing to be so busy. So we are happy about our schedule and we're happy about food.
I'm too happy about food is what I'm getting at.
Shoot. Well, there's this orange sitting on the table. I just keep looking at it thinking, what if I could just peel that with my big old thumbnails?
You probably could.
We can have that right now, me and you.
We probably could.
Y'all, thanks for hanging out with us one more time while we wandered through religion and food and healthcare.
And more food.
What'll be next, food?
Well, death. We haven't talked about a lot of death this time, so that's next,
That's true. But expect that out of this is going to come us scrawling down a little old plan of hey, let's record a gospel album because we ain't got nothing else to do. And because neither one of us are Christian, why don't we do a damn gospel album? I'm on it. Craig, you on it?
I'm in,
Go
darling.
ahead. You
I
on
feel the spirit.
We're on it.
Selby.
Selby's on it. He's smiling now, shaking his head.
Right now, he just kind of jerked because he knew
He did.
somewhere out in the
He did.
ether, he's jerking.
Selby just jerking with all those women.
Those women up on Wyrd Mountain.
Wyrd Mountain gal.
Yeah. Anyway, see y'all later.
Thanks, y'all. Bye.
Hey, thank you for spending your time with us here at Wyrd Mountain Gals. We sure do appreciate it. You know, I know time is the most important thing we have, so I promise that if you take your time to listen to us, we'll take our time to continue to be weird. Many thanks to Sunslice Records for all the help. We couldn't do it without you, Craig. Check out our social media for information, community, or a few laughs. WYRD Mountain Gals.